who is tuning in so far, or for posterity's sake, whatever. I always forget that word, but for
Posterity, posterior. I don't
posterity,
know.
posterity. There we go. For posterity's sake, for the podcast, people listening in the future, um, this is a new episode of I Have Work in the Morning. This is your host Alex. Today I'm going to be interviewing um Tyler. His Twitch is in the stream name. It's also on screen right now with the topic text. Basically, we met. Well, we haven't met in person, but we met talking online on Reddit about local Chico like moving up here and having a hard time, adjusting because it's a kind of weird area. Like I would say, what would you say, Tyler? It's a little different from the norm sometimes in the way that the um the area is set up, especially with COVID and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're on a similar timeline as me, where you came to Chico what, a year and a half, 2 years ago,
Yeah, just
something like
about two
that.
years ago now.
Yeah, I think I'm about a year and 7 months in or so,
Hmm.
somewhere around there. So yeah, we're both new transplants, and yeah, it kind of sucks that half that time now has been the whole town being shut down more or less because of COVID. But you
Right.
know,
I recently, me and my roommate were talking about that because I we finally decided to go out and start doing stuff, right? And
hmm
then everything got shut down, and we're like, "Damn, what a time for
yeah,
us to finally be willing to go out."
yeah. How long did Chico State last before they had to go on all online again? Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 3 weeks, and then I saw that post. I was like, "Wow, that's insane, actually."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think the overwhelming majority of cases in the county are now that age group. The college kids.
oh yeah, who all party together and stuff, no masks,
Oh
no.
yeah, and I can't say I'm surprised, but the disappointment still sets in. It's whatever.
It's insane to me. So for the uh for the stream and for the podcast, do you mind telling everybody what you do for a living? We talked about it a little bit before I started recording. Um
Sure. So my name's Tyler. I basically about a year ago started my own business where I'll design houses, custom residential stuff. And what I can do is basically develop a full-on set of building plans that you take in to the city or the county, and that should get approved for permit, and you can go ahead and start building. So what I do is basically create the plans and get them through permit for you.
okay, and you do
So
mainly houses?
yeah. So in the state of California, you don't need to be a licensed architect or anything to design residential or agricultural. So I'm kind of operating in that space because I don't have an architecture license yet.
Okay. And do you
Yeah.
happen to plan on getting one of those?
It's all up in the air right now. The thing about these licenses and the engineering license is the same as well. I actually have prior experience in engineering before I switched to architecture.
Hmm.
But in either one of those, you need to work under someone else, and you need to get a letter of recommendation from people who have directly supervised you or reviewed your work in some way. So
Okay.
yeah, being on my own, I realize I'm kind of sabotaging myself for that in the short term. But ideally, I would hopefully collaborate with other professionals, licensed individuals,
Okay.
and yeah, maybe get a license at some point in the future. But yeah, for now, I am sticking to mostly residential. Other types of projects aren't totally off limits. I would just have to essentially share the work with a licensed architect or somebody. So I could still do design on, say, like a commercial building, but the architect would have final say, and they'd go through and they'd review it, and they would, put their stamp on it before we're able to take it in to get it approved.
Oh, okay. So like some type of collaboration project
Yeah.
style thing. Okay.
hmm
That sounds pretty cool, actually. You mentioned that most of your like, I guess I'm not sure if the term would be contracts, but most of your jobs come with the Paradise rebuilds. About how many of those have you been having to do with what's been going on?
yeah, I'd say it's actually quite a bit. I think upwards of 70% of my the houses I got this year were Paradise related.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I was in the right region for it, and I've actually had people from out of area want to work with me because I could, just get in the car and drive up there, be able to review things on site. So, yeah, I guess that was convenient.
I mean, yeah, being in the field, seeing stuff like that, that sounds way cooler. Like then, having to use satellite imagery to give someone
Oh yeah,
an estimate on
I
something.
wouldn't trust a satellite image. The amount of accuracy you need is just not going to be there with Google Earth or anything.
So for some, okay, so that brings up a good topic for a project that would be far away that you can't just drive to, like Paradise, right? Because it's 20 minutes away.
Yeah,
What?
like, let's say someone on like the East Coast wants a house design.
Yeah, how would you go about doing that since you can't rely on satellite imagery?
Yeah, so what I'd probably do is the first thing you're after is a site plan to make sure the house you designed fits on there. And so what I do is either ask the homeowner if they have that, or if they've hired maybe a contractor or a surveyor to get that done because they can do that kind of thing in the field. Or if that doesn't exist and they want to just go for house plans, most cities and counties will have records of site plans and the dimensions of everybody's lot in the area.
Okay.
Like if you just type in like Butte County and APN lookup, it'll direct you to a database of any lot you could probably think of in the county. And I think yeah, Tehama County I think has the same kind of setup where anyone can walk in and just take a look at how the lots are divided up, and you get dimensions and everything. So that's usually the starting point for something far away.
Okay. Um, so these are basically public record at that point, right? Like
Oh
you
yeah,
said,
these are
anybody
all
can.
public records.
Okay. And you like with most public records, you do physically have to go in, right? There's no online database or something.
Oh, there is an online database.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed to have 100% accuracy, but it can be good enough for figuring out where you want to place the house and everything, and making sure you're not going to run into any issues regarding the site.
Okay. That's man, I can't believe there's like so much stuff that goes into just this planning phase of it. So, if I could you possibly give me a rundown of like the whole process from like start to finish, where you pick up and then you leave off for the whole housing project? Like what is
Um,
the step by step?
yeah, it's usually I'm more towards the early side of the construction process, where either a homeowner can approach me directly, or a homeowner will approach a contractor who doesn't have a drafter in house, and the contractor can then reach out to me and then get that work done through me.
Hmm.
Yeah, and either way, it's basically you kind of talk to the homeowner, see what they want, what they had in mind for the house they want to build. You know, and what I'll do from there is create kind of a startup sketch. Just rough floor plans, not really accurate or anything, just kind of a general idea. And there's kind of this back and forth where I show the homeowner what I've got, and they say they want these changes, and I keep refining every time they do it. And then once we find something that we're both happy with, then I go ahead and develop that into a full-on set of drawings. And so yeah, once the homeowner's happy, I'll have my architectural stuff, and then I'll go ahead and reach out to the energy efficiency and the engineering, and all that's kind of contracted through me
Okay.
for for pieces I can't do directly. But yeah, in the end, so yeah, I'll basically get all those guys, whatever's needed, and kind of compile them into a single set, and then that I can just hand to the contractor record, and they take it right into the building department. And yeah, you'd think that would be the end, but the building department always has to say a couple of things, and they're like, add this note, change this thing a little bit. So, and they're usually minor adjustments, but yeah, it is a process you have to go through to make sure you're complying with building code and all that.
Okay. And then once that's done, you pass it off onto the contractors, right? Yeah, you have like nothing to do with the physical aspect of the house building after that, do you?
That's almost true. I'm still hanging around in case the contractor has any questions about clarifying things with their building plans, or if something unexpected came up in the field. I still have to be more or less on call to figure out what's going on and how to basically adapt the drawings to whatever they want to change out there.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's I'm basically on the hook until construction is finished. I mean,
Do-
it's uncommon to have anyone call me back once construction is well on its way, but yeah, something can always come up.
It should, yeah, just in case, right?
Yeah, and the bigger and more complex the project, the more likely it is that stuff will come up. Like for instance, when I used to work at an engineering firm, they had a full-on hotel lobby that we completely redid, and as they were going, as they were taking out some of the old stuff, they kept discovering all these places where the walls were dry rotted out. So they kept coming back to us, and they're like, "Okay, this is dry rotted. We can't rely on this for structural support. We have to
Mhm.
change something." And so that became kind of a regular thing with that project, where we basically have to redesign something, turn it around in maybe a day or two, so the contractor didn't lose any time on their schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a much faster pace once it starts construction because now you got people who are concerned about making their building deadlines and everything.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody has deadlines and things that they answer to, which in the field
Yeah,
is always a pain in the ass. So I
yeah,
understand.
exactly. I mean, the architect, the engineer, like all that, it's a tiny fraction of the cost of construction. So if
Mhm.
that's delayed, it's not really a big deal. But when you're actually constructing and you're spending most of your money, and you got a bunch of heavy equipment out there, you got to pay guys to be out there. Yeah, you can potentially lose a lot if you get stalled out for too long.
It's unfortunate if that happens.
Yeah.
So for these houses that you're doing, what are the budgets that people are usually spending on like the rebuilds for Paradise? Like the
For most people, they I don't know the full on construction cost because that's something the contractor would put them on. So I can't tell you an exact number, but usually coming to me for my design, the engineering where needed, all of that stuff. For the average, like 3-bedroom house, 1,500 square feet, it's like I'd say $3,000 or so to get the plans fully done.
okay.
Yeah, and of course that's nothing compared to actually building it. You're looking at like maybe 80,000 for a small house, up to maybe 200,000 for something really custom and really kind of high end.
Yeah, this the construction, the field stuff always the most expensive, right?
Oh
Sadly.
yeah, by a long shot.
So moving to this area, right? We discussed that earlier that we both came out here and it's been a little weird. What has been your favorite and least favorite aspect of living out here now, you'd
Let's
say?
see. I think by far my favorite, the outdoor stuff. Upper Bidwell is one of my favorite areas to go in.
Okay.
Yeah, I just yeah, I guess I just like walking and just generally roaming around.
Do you know any good swimming spots?
Well, yeah, the usual up in Upper Bidwell. The bear hole up there, I think, and then
Hmm.
yeah, any of those spots along Chico Creek that comes out of the canyon.
Yeah, my roommate is big on finding those from people that he knows and stuff, and we try to go, but now it's too cold to go swimming, unfortunately,
Yeah,
and
it's October, so that's on hold for a while.
yeah, kind of
Yeah, that
sucks.
creek is a blessing when you try to go up there in summer, though, when it's 108 degrees, and you stop every 10 minutes to go in the creek, and you're like, you know what? I want to stay here. I don't want to go up in the hill anymore.
Yeah. Do you like the culture of the town at all?
Yeah, I really like the college town atmosphere. Having I actually went to school in San Luis Obispo, so it's kind of a similar setup where it's like a small city, and then the college really dominates.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess I'm still in the age group where I really still enjoy that, but I'd like to have a quiet place to just come back to when I want to sleep.
Yeah,
So that's why
instead of
I'm on the northern side of town. So hopefully no Chico State kids blasting music at 1 in the morning, anything like that.
right, it's better to go to the party than come back home to your house than have your house be the party.
Oh, exactly.
So You you mentioned playing Phasmophobia when we were talking earlier.
Yeah, it's a game I picked up with a couple of old friends.
Have you been
Yeah,
liking playing it?
yeah, we enjoyed it. We've tried all kinds of ways to break it, basically, because we're just like that.
Oh yeah.
And I think you picked it up as well, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, I picked it up. I played it with my friends. One of my friends is extremely scared of it, and the rest of us were just kind of the same way, trying to figure it out, trying to see like what the limits are of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have you done the trick where you put a camera down and you put like the EMF and the book up against the wall somewhere so you could see everything from the camera?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah, that's one of our favorite go-tos. So we can just drop a bunch of stuff off and then step back.
Man, I gotta write that down. Do
Oh,
you
yeah,
have? Oh, sorry.
and I'm probably the least gamer of that group I play with, oddly enough. So they're going pretty in depth, and I'm just along for the ride, basically.
Well, I mean that. I mean it's still fun, so
Yeah, I'm still having a great time.
that's perfect. So you were talking about I have your Twitch stream up. The link up on screen for anybody watching. Just what games do you usually end up streaming? I know you mentioned it was not super often or anything like that, but I just want to get the word out. If anybody wants to watch you.
Yeah, it's pretty sporadic the actual times I stream, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's really just what I'm feeling like. It's mostly yeah, it's mostly whatever game I feel like playing at the time. A couple months ago, I did a lot of streaming of Railway Empire. So it's kind of like a strategy game. You move resources around by railway and just rack up a bunch of money. So
Okay, I think
yeah,
there's games like that. Well, I mean, obviously there's video games like that, but I think there's tabletop board games like that. I think it's like the 18xx series or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're familiar with board games or anything like that, but
somewhat. I don't know exactly which one you're talking about, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what's out there.
you ever played Ticket to Ride?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
that's
like the
pretty
most
fun.
common. Yeah, it's like the most common train game,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask you actually. We had never talked about this. I mean, do you like music? Is a silly question. So, what kind of music do you
I
actually
mean, yeah,
like?
everybody does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of honestly, I'm a little bit basic up until like high school. It was yeah, my dad's classic rock, and that was what I told everybody.
Hmm.
And to this day, still I do enjoy that. But yeah, so kind of started branching out into college. Yeah, I think finally hit my emo phase at like age 24. So I kind of got it in the mix.
I mean, it's good, man. Emo's good, so
Yeah,
don't even
and
fret.
I remember it being like the anti emo throughout when that whole era was popular. I was like, I'm not gonna. I I don't really enjoy anything else but the music, so I'm just gonna take the music and go.
Right. Do you have anything that you'd like to talk about? Do you have any questions for me or anything like that? Do you?
Yeah. So you said yeah, you're a transplant from somewhere else too. Where are you originally from?
Oh, I'm from the Fresno area.
Oh, okay, so you're yeah, you're pretty distant from me. Yeah, I'm from the North Bay, like Santa Rosa. So
Oh, that's cool. I have a group of friends that lives in Santa Rosa actually. Well,
oh,
they
right on.
work the same job as me, but in that area. So that's pretty
Huh.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if we touch on that yet. What do you guys do?
oh, well, we're field engineers for a financial security company. So we work on retail and financial service equipment like ATMs or network
Oh, okay.
security devices and stuff like that. So we are,
Cool.
but we're the field guys. So it's hard sometimes. We're not the guys making like the logistical moves. We're the guys who are actually fixing it. So it gets a little rough sometimes. Yeah, that is a fancy way to put it.
Yeah. So in a typical kind of I guess you do a lot of traveling for that. I think you brought that up already.
Yeah, my area here, the most south I go is um like a town. I'm not like Calusa is probably like the most common southbound town that I go to, and our
So
our
you're Is your mic working? I guess the train's coming by.
No, can you not hear me? I can. My mic is
All
still
right.
live for me. Hello. Let me rejoin real quick. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello? I can hear you, Tyler.
I can't hear any voice coming through on your end. Is something going wrong? All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I think my speakers kind of frizzed out for a little bit there.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so like I was saying, the most southbound I would go for my job is like Calusa, and then the so like 30 minutes from Sac, and then
Yeah.
most northbound we go is like Shasta Lake. So it's pretty
Okay. So
it's
you're
pretty
kind of covering like the whole North Valley area.
yeah, it's a pretty big area. But that's not just me doing it, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and it's part of a team. So on your typical trip, what's usually the thing you end up working on? Like, and then you brought up ATMs and stuff.
I guess that's the most common thing we work on is ATMs. Usually user error. So like
That's usually
people
how
will
it is.
deposit money sideways or money with receipts or paper clips or pens or something, which will jam the machine because they work fine, but they won't work fine to put money. I mean, they won't put things that aren't money in the machine, so it'll jam it. So that's just the way
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found jammed into one of those things?
Oh, drugs. That's an easy
Drugs.
answer. Yeah, I
I,
think I think most of us have found something weird like that in it. But yeah, you find drugs and then you got to call the police and then it's a big deal and blah blah blah.
yeah, I should have expected that, but I guess
Yeah,
you had to say it.
of course. But so you said that you travel to Paradise for the obviously for those things. Is there any other traveling that's required for your job?
Usually no. Like I said, it's mostly been local, so I've been fortunate enough to not even test that really. But yeah, I can do a project without physically going to the site at all.
Hmm.
It's a little more difficult, but if the other party has good online capability, it's possible.
Okay. Um, you mentioned that without your license, you're able to do housing and agriculture. Do you do any agricultural projects nearby or anything like that?
So far, no. And by agricultural, as far as building this code is concerned, it's like it's like barns and sheds, minor structures that aren't really heavily occupied by people. So it's kind of the lower end of the building quality there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, a question you might know that me and my roommate have been wondering: would you say land up here is expensive or like lower than average? Because we live in California, so obviously land's going to be
Yeah.
really
Well, then your
expensive.
question is the average compared to what frame of mind? Because compared to the rest of California, it's cheap. But if you widen your lens a little bit, you start looking at other states, then it's still California land. It's going to be pricier than most other states.
Oh, okay. So it is a little bit more expensive than other areas.
Yeah. Nationwide, yes, but I'm a transplant from the Bay Area, so I came up here and I'm just like, wow, everything's cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you could spend what I think there was. I checked land prices a few days ago here. I think there was I'd say like $150,000 for like a 2 acre place somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers, but yeah, it's somewhere around there. But yeah, if you go back to my kind of homeland, Sonoma County, $150,000 gets you like a quarter of an acre. But the weather's great. That's what they tell you.
Well, right now that's not too great with the fires, right? I mean, I didn't even know Santa Rosa had, fires like they do over here, right? It's
Oh
sad.
yeah. So oddly enough, yeah, I was still working at the engineering firm in Santa Rosa when the 2017 fires hit and kind of tore through that whole area.
Hmm.
Yeah, they actually cut off the highway between me and my work, so I literally couldn't even go to work for a few days.
Yeah, we have situations like that with the fires. If it gets too crazy, we have sites that we aren't supposed to go to anymore because of,
Yeah,
evac
I bet.
warnings.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually participated in some of the rebuild stuff there, engineering a few houses here and there. And then when I left that job and came up to here, that was just after the campfires. So I had to basically go through the whole thing all over again, where,
Right.
the whole community is still reeling from this. And they got just a massive amount of people that need housing now.
Yeah, man, it's insane. It was moving here right after the campfire. Like literally, I I put in an email for the apartment, the first apartments that I was trying to move into. And they were like, we'll get back to you tomorrow. And then they called me and they were like, do you want the place? And I was like, oh, I got to think about it. And they were like, oh, well, we can't do thinking. There's a fire happening like now, like right now. Like it was right, the fire just started right when I like sent my email basically. And they were like, people are moving here in droves. So I need to know, do you want it now or never? And I was like, I don't have like the deposit yet, so no. And then that kept happening. They were like, do you want it now? And I was like, no. And it just kept going and going and going, and it took like 2 months for there to be spots open for me to move here. It was
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I think, yeah, so I actually planned my move before the campfire even happened. And by the time we got around to doing it, yeah, it took a long time. The first few places I went to, there are like, yeah, we have waiting lists that are 50 people long or more. So I was like, yeah, all I heard was not happening right now. So
Yeah,
yeah, it took a few months, but eventually I found a place.
it's crazy, man. And then now with everything having recovered, the housing was way more open when our lease expired, and now we moved to where we live now. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you kind of enter that choke point right after the fire where everybody into the house right away, and then
mhm.
from there on out, any house that's built in Paradise back, it kind of takes pressure off the whole system now.
Did you see any panic about the most recent fire that might have possibly gone to paradise again?
I'm not sure. Well, I was a I hadn't left my apartment during that whole period, but I assume there probably would have been.
Oh, so there's no
Uh,
like I guess like
I didn't
preventative
see
orders put
anybody,
in or yeah.
panic buying a bunch of toilet paper again or trying to leave. Like the
Okay.
highways weren't jammed up or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. Um, what else is weird about this area? I was just thinking about it right now. 'Cause like driving, east from here, you go Paradise, Magalia, Quincy,
Yeah.
Chester, etc. Like
Hmm.
it's different because I talk to a lot of people who have never been to areas like this that have a lot of small like mountain style towns nearby. They're
Hmm.
kind of just used to a city after a city after a city,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
kind of it's more population dense there. They're in the South Valley, isn't it?
Hmm.
And you got Fresno, and then you go up. It's like I think it's Merced next or Turlock or
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
know. The order gets confusing for me, but
yeah, Fresno, Merced, then Modesto and Stockton, and it's all population dense along that freeway.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. At least there's some breathing room out here. Yeah, I think what was jarring for my parents when they first visited me out here, there's no way you can get from the Bay Area to Chico that doesn't involve a one lane road at some point.
Oh, I know. That is
Yeah,
so annoying.
yep. It's yeah. They were like, "What do you mean we can't take the 4 lane freeway all the way there?" I'm just like,
Exactly.
"Yeah, it's 99 or 32. That's kind of your only options."
Right, there's the giant is it the Mendocino National Forest between like us and the coast basically?
Yeah, that's it.
That's giant, man. Big forest.
Yeah. Oh, it's massive.
Oh, what I was
Yeah.
gonna say is something that took me aback was last year around probably like November, December. It doesn't snow in Chico. That's it's like a
Yeah.
normal town. It doesn't snow in Chico, but 11 minutes away in Paradise, I drove and it was snowing. That was
Oh
just
yeah.
so surprising to me, like how it could be like night and day with the
Yeah.
weather.
It is a really fast ascent up there.
Mm-hmm.
You go, I can be from 10 minutes from the base of the hill, go up there, and it's a totally different climate. It's weird.
It's insane to me, but
Yeah,
it's cool though because I mean it means that you can go without any worries about like getting lost in the snow. 10 minutes away from home.
yeah, and you look out and you're like, oh, there's the town,
Exactly.
right that way. Yeah, I know. There's other areas that you drive from the valley up to the Sierras, like up Highway 80 in Sacramento. It's much more of a gradual change.
Mm-hmm.
There's no just 5 minutes and you're suddenly in a different climate. It's you go through a lot of rolling hills and you go slowly. Yeah.
Would have you ever been to Grass Valley?
Yeah, I've been through there a few times.
Yeah, I think the last time I drove through there was snow. It was really taking me back.
Yeah, I usually don't. My car doesn't have four-wheel drive or anything, so I usually stay out of the mountains during the snowy months.
Smart. That's very
Yeah.
smart.
Uh huh.
My job says they don't give a shit, so I have to drive regardless.
Yeah, that's a worthy investment for you.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making you go up there even in the winter.
All right, man. Well, I don't have any more questions. So if you have any closing remarks or anything you want to talk about, I would like to thank you again for coming on here. It was nice
Yeah, no
talking to you about
problem.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we gotta just sit tight and hang out in Chico and our own little apartments.
I know, right? Well, hopefully when this quarantine ends and we can start going outside, we can maybe link up or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we could even do it right now. We could just, find an open park somewhere. We, have a picnic or whatever, like 10 feet apart.
Yeah, stay apart, right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for talking about your job. It was very interesting to me, and I'm sure everybody is thankful for you coming
Yeah,
on
no
here.
problem.
And maybe we'll have you on in the future again. Thank you. Like
All
I
right, I'd be
said,
happy to. Yeah, thank you.
no problem, man. I will talk to you later.
All right, thanks. See you around.
Peace out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Whoever was watching, I know Shelby and Kristen were watching for sure. Thank you so much for that interview, Tyler. It was nice talking to you, man. I find your job very interesting. Um, actually, I've always had an interest in land, so it's cool to me. Thank you, everybody. I'll be uploading this to YouTube soon. Then it can be listened to as a normal podcast. If you guys are interested in uh, talking to Tyler again, let me know. His Twitch is in the description for the video, so if you follow him, maybe catch him live one day. That'd be great. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, and I love you.